Hello and welcome to my Ninja Turtles channel. We have a lot to talk about tonight on the Ninja Turtles show. I'm speeding in to do the show right now in my foot cruiser. It's going to be a great show. We're going to talk about a lot of comics tonight. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Last Ronin, and artist Tim Lattie from the Saturday Morning Adventures cartoon. We're also going to be talking about Peter Laird returning an interview. First interview I've heard since 2019. He's been out of the loop, so I'm excited about that. Get ready, Mutation Nation. It's going to be a great show. Type a T in the chat if you like the Ninja Turtles. And get ready. Let's go! Welcome to my Ninja Turtles channel. It's 7 p.m. in the Big Apple, and this is the Ninja Turtles Show. Your weekly live stream every Turtle Tuesday. Covering Ninja Turtles news, toys, cartoons, movies, comics, and more.
Pizza heaven!
Whatever the show we want. And tonight, we are covering a lot of comic books, Power Rangers, Last Ronin Lost Years, Saturday Morning Adventures. We're also going to be talking about artist, writer, and live streamer, Tim Lattie. Working on the Saturday Morning Adventures comics. And of course, co-creator of the Ninja Turtles, Peter Laird, returning, emerging. Peter Laird returns. The king is back. And the Mutation Nation, we celebrate Peter Laird, of course. Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman, co-creators of the Ninja Turtles. Thank you for joining me on this Turtle Tuesday. Hope you're having a great day. It's going to be a great show. Live stream every Turtle Tuesday and upload videos every Saturday. Thanks for sticking with me through those technical problems in the beginning of the show. Always a little rough. Tonight on the Ninja Turtle Show, we have a lot to get to. Before we get started, just wanted to remind you, like the video, subscribe here on YouTube to my Ninja Turtles channel, of course, and also on Rumble, rumble.com/my Ninja Turtles channel. And also follow me on Twitter at my TMNT channel. Just tweeted today. Sometimes I forget to tweet. I'm new to Twitter. I don't know how to do it right. I don't know if I have the hot takes or anything. So follow me on Twitter at my TMNT channel. We have a lot to get to. So hope you enjoyed the videos last week. We had a video about the Ninja Turtles depiction in the Power Rangers comic book called Are the Ninja Turtles Black? And I also released a video about the rise of the TMNT movie last week. So 2 cool new videos, and we're going to have 2 cool new videos again this week on Thursday and Saturday. So live stream every Turtle Tuesday and a couple videos. Thank you for joining me. Who do we have in the chat? I'm seeing F47, Raffi, Mr. Turtle, Daw88, Celeste, SR, Toidle. How is it going? A little bit of a rough start. Rory, hello everybody. Thank you for joining me. Should be a fun show. Always rough to have a tough start like that, but we power through it here. Pickle, hello. Pickle is in the chat. Let's type a T in the chat for Turtles. T for everybody joining here on a Turtle Tuesday. Thank you for stopping out. So the first thing I wanted to get to, I can't even wait. Enough yapping at the beginning of the show. Enough of that yapping. Let's get right to the show. Let's get right to the core of the matter here. We're talking about Peter Laird. First interview I've seen since 2019. And he appeared on the Cartoonist Kayfabe shoot interview. Great comic book channel. And we've got Tyron in the chat as well. Yeah, I agree. It's great Peter Laird's back. Great interview from Cartoonist Kayfabe. They do a bunch of comic book interviews. Really good stuff. Ed Piskor and Jim Rugg. And they interviewed the great Peter Laird the other day. I saw this. It was wonderful. I woke up. I saw it first thing in the morning. It made my day. And I saw Gen X Catholic, one of our regular viewers, had already commented on the video 5 hours before me. So it's good to see Peter Laird. He's almost 70. He's getting older. And it was a really great personal interview. As you can see here, Peter Laird, he sold the Turtles in 2009. It's been 14 years. He's retired. He's still bald. He's got a little bit of frizzy hair on the side of his head. He's got thin, pursed lips. They barely move when he speaks during the interview. Toidle says he looks great for his age. He really does. I think he went bald in his 20s, and he's looked the same ever since. He looks great. And it was a really personal, honest interview. He was really a lot of introspection. He was a lot of like self-reflection. He questioned himself and he questioned his decisions. He questioned his past with the Turtles. I think he has enough space now in between the selling of the Turtles and today that he has, it's like a breakup or something. You need a little bit of room to get over it and process it. And I think he's had a lot of time to get over it and understand it and what it means to him. And the interview was really revealing and really personal. He talked about what would have happened if they didn't license the Turtles out in the 80s, if they never created the toys, if they never created the 1987 TV show. He talked about what would have happened if he and Kevin Eastman just focused on the comic books. Co-creators of the Ninja Turtles, of course, Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman. He talked about what would have happened if they never did the cartoon show, if they just focused on the comics, if they could have stuck to that. And he talked about why he sold the Turtles. He talked about he was just getting older, and he said, the quote was, "I just didn't want to deal with it anymore. I just didn't want to deal with it anymore." And I thought, wow, Peter Laird is a great writer. He was a great interview. He's really honest. It's like brutally, painfully honest. He has this kind of clarity now. He's evolved. He's had this cool-off period, and he does look good. He's getting older, though. He loses his train of thought several times, and he explained the Turtle sale took 2 years. So back in 2009, he sold the Turtles in 2009 to Viacom, Nickelodeon, Paramount, or whatever, in 2009. So that was over 2 years. It was 6 months after the 2007 movie came out is when they started working the deal to sell the Turtles. And of course, Kevin Eastman sold his share of the Turtles to Peter Laird in the year 2000. So Peter Laird had a 25-year run with the Turtles, and it seems like he just kind of wanted to move on to something new. And it was really a very good interview. He talks about Volume 4 sometime. He thinks about Volume 4. He said during the interview, that he thinks about Volume 4 and finishing Volume 4 sometimes. And I thought that was really interesting. He's kind of thinking back on everything in his past, and it's really honest how he questions his previous decisions. A lot of people say, oh, I have no regrets, this or that. But Peter Laird was honest, and he has this new attitude as well. I noticed sometimes in the past he was kind of closed off to the Turtles, like he had had enough of it. He didn't want to ever think about the Turtles again. He sold it and he was done with it. But in this interview, he seemed a little bit optimistic. He had a new attitude. He was happy. He was open to the Turtles. And he didn't immediately shut down coming back for another project or anything. It seems like he's in a good place. It seems like he's happy. Peter Laird seems to be a tense guy. He's a pensive guy. He's an intense guy. He's a writer. He's a great mind. And sometimes it's, he's like a tough nut to crack, but he was very personable in this interview and very honest, and seemed happy. He seemed like he had a weight off of his shoulders, and he seems maybe invigorated again to do the Turtles again. It seems like he has a little bit of spark now in his life. He's a grandpa. He became a grandpa recently, and one of the most interesting things I found out during the interview with Peter Laird, co-creator of the Ninja Turtles, is that he kind of set up the interview. So he kind of reached out and wanted to speak. So it seems like he emerged from a cocoon. He emerged from his hibernation, and he's back. The great Peter Laird. And it was interesting to hear that he kind of got the ball rolling. Like maybe he wanted to dip his toe back into the comic book world again, and maybe this is a way to try it out. But he seemed open to working with Kevin Eastman, the other co-creator of the Ninja Turtles. He seemed somewhat open to working with Kevin again on something in the future, and maybe just seeing how it goes. So it was a really interesting interview. I highly recommend it. I think it's the first interview since maybe 2019. I know he did the episode The Toys That Made Us on Netflix. He did an episode of that where they interviewed him. But it was really good, and look at, he's smiling, he's looking good. He almost looks like a Ninja Turtle. He's looking great. Peter Laird, great guy, co-creator of the Ninja Turtles with Kevin Eastman. Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman. None of this would be possible without them. So let's type a T in the chat for Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman. T for Turtles, and T for thank you, Kevin and Peter. T for Turtles and T for thank you to Kevin and Peter for creating the Ninja Turtles. It's so great to hear from a co-creator, hear right from him. They have this 40-year legacy, thousands of comics, movies, tons of billions of dollars worth of merchandise. What a history. Video games. Still going strong today. Last Ronin. Really, really great stuff. So Peter Laird, great interview with the Cartoonist Kayfabe channel on YouTube. Great stuff. Check it out if you haven't already. This was a great interview with Peter Laird, one of the main guys. He's a lot more reclusive than Kevin Eastman. You don't see Peter Laird that much. Kevin Eastman is still working on the current IDW Ninja Turtles comics, but Peter Laird is retired from the Turtles. He sold his portion, like I said, in 2009, and he doesn't do interviews as often, so it's great to hear from him. It's great to hear him talk about all the comics and all the great history that the Ninja Turtles have. So really cool stuff from Peter Laird and the Cartoonist Kayfabe YouTube channel. Next thing I wanted to talk about, speaking about great comics, have we had a lot of great comics this month coming out from the Ninja Turtles? We go from the old vintage Peter Laird original Mirage stuff in the 80s to the new stuff. January 2023 had some great comic books. The Armageddon game, The Alliance #3 came out. Written and drawn by the great Junie Ba. Cross that one off the list. Also had number 136 and the Armageddon game #4 last week. 2 great comic books. Cross those off the list. Mr. Toidle says, honestly, I'm getting bored with the IDW Turtles and I don't know why. Well, maybe these new comic books that come out tomorrow can reignite your love for the IDW Turtles. Because tomorrow we're getting a few new Ninja Turtles comic books. The Last Ronin, The Lost Years, #1. Power Rangers, #2. And Saturday Morning Adventures, #4. So we'll start off with The Last Ronin, Lost Years. This is the prequel sequel to the Last Ronin miniseries that came out from 2020 to 2022. So they're continuing in the Ronin-verse, the Last Ronin story. You can see the Last Ronin here is on the cover. And this is going to be another 5-issue miniseries from Kevin Eastman and Ben Bishop. They switched out the artist this time to S.L. Gallant instead of the Escorza brothers. And it looks pretty neat. It's going to be an interesting tale set in the future again. Different than the regular IDW comics or the Mirage continuity. It's going to be its own separate thing in the Ronin-verse. But it looks pretty exciting. And if another 5-issue miniseries isn't enough for you in the Ronin-verse, they are releasing a Lost Day comic to add to the Lost Years comic. So they're releasing a 5-issue miniseries and a one-shot called The Lost Day. So they're having the Lost Years miniseries and the Lost Day one-shot. And the Lost Day one-shot is going to focus on some stuff in the future and some stuff in the past. And I think this is supposed to be April O'Neil on the front cover, an old April O'Neil. You can see she has the bionic arm like she does in the Last Ronin comics. And she's older, so it's going to focus on an older April O'Neil and maybe new Turtles, and maybe the daughter, Casey Marie, is going to be there with the, the Last Ronin and the new Turtles. So looks like she has some colored bandanas on one of her belts that go around her. It looks like she has a red and blue kind of bandana or some sort of cloth on her belt there. Maybe that symbolizes something. But she's got the bionic arm. So we're getting 5 Lost Years comics in a miniseries and 1 Lost Day one-shot comic. So 6 more Last Ronin comics coming up pretty soon. Exciting stuff from the Turtles. And if that's not enough, the second issue of the Power Rangers Ninja Turtles crossover. The second issue of the second crossover. So issue 2 of the second miniseries, Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles, is coming out tomorrow. Really exciting stuff. Don't want to spoil anything for anyone. Don't want to spoil anything, but it's pretty fun and pretty exciting to see how they've kind of flipped things around in this comic. And they're hinting at the fact that our good friend Casey Jones may be somewhat of a villain. Or maybe he's brainwashed, maybe he's possessed, maybe it's a clone. But Casey Jones seems to be the bad guy in this one. So that's an interesting twist for the Power Rangers Ninja Turtles comics. Maybe Krang isn't the bad guy, maybe it's not Shredder, maybe it's Casey Jones. So that's an interesting twist. That's coming out tomorrow. Second issue of the second crossover between the Power Rangers and the Turtles. And if that's not your thing, the 4th issue of the Saturday Morning Adventures comic books. These were based, of course, on the original 1987 cartoon. This is just a 4-issue miniseries, but they may be extending it. I guess they're releasing a trade of the 4 issues, a trade paperback, a collection of these 4 issues, and it says #1. So they may be releasing more of these issues. Maybe they were popular. Maybe they're trying to push the new, the 1987 comic stuff. Maybe they're gearing up for something 1987 related in 2023. Who knows? The 1987 Turtles are kind of the most recognizable version of the Turtles. I think the 1987 show was it's probably the most popular Ninja Turtle show in its time and everything. It's sad it's not available to stream anywhere, but These comics have been coming out for a while now. This is the 4th one, and the same creative team has worked on all 4. I'll show you the first issue. Same creative team. Eric Burnham is the writer, Tim Lattie is the artist, and Sarah Meyer does the colors for these Saturday Morning Adventures books. And Sarah Meyer is an artist as well. Sarah Meyer does great stuff, and Eric Burnham's written a lot for Ninja Turtles, Ghostbusters as well. He's done the Ninja Turtles Ghostbusters crossovers, so it's neat to have the same creative team on all 4 of these issues. And the person I wanted to speak about is Tim Lattie, the artist for all 4 of these issues, Saturday Morning Adventures. I found something out about Tim Lattie. Well, I found out a few things about Tim Lattie. He's not just an artist and a writer, he's a live streamer as well. That's Tim Lattie on the left there at a Comic-Con. Tim Lattie on the left, there he is again, arm wrestling a fan apparently. So, seems like a cool guy. This is how he signs all of his Ninja Turtle stuff. He has this unique signature thing. It's like an ooze vial, and his name is written in the ooze. It says Lattie in the ooze. I thought that's very unique. So there he is again, holding a sign with his name on it, Tim Lattie on the left. So he's not only a writer, an artist, and all that. He's not only a comic book professional, he's a live streamer as well. I guess he has a Twitch channel. I watched one of his Twitch streams. Tim Lattie on Twitch. All of his social media is Team Lattie. And he's a great Twitch streamer, I gotta say. He had a great stream. He was really engaging, great voice, great streamer, very interesting, cool stuff. Seemed like a cool guy, regular guy, no BS or anything. And he's in Louisiana, and I guess he owns chickens. I thought that was fascinating. He's got a great setup. His backgrounds look cool. His live streaming setup looks cool on Twitch. And he was going over the Saturday Morning Adventures comic, and he gave a bunch of behind-the-scenes information. He gave all these factoids and all the stuff that goes into the process of actually making a comic. So it was so cool to hear from the artists, directly from the artist, how a comic book gets made, what goes into it, what kind of decisions get made, how they get made. And it was this comic, you know, it's a little bit light on the writing. It's based on the 1987 series. It's really a visual comic. It's really an art-focused comic. So he's one of the big drivers of the art in the comic and one of the big creative forces behind the Saturday Morning Adventures books. So it was neat to hear about how the comic books are made. Also, I mentioned he owns chickens. I think he mentioned he doesn't believe in dinosaurs. So he's an interesting guy. He mentioned this first issue of Saturday Morning Adventures was supposed to be the 4th issue. So sometimes they change the order that the comics are going to come out in. They, you know, IDW will rearrange the schedule, the release schedule. They'll tweak things. They don't have ultimate creative freedom, but from what he was saying, it seems like he has a lot of creative freedom. It was really, really cool. And it was his stream was nice. He was a great entertainer. He played video games. He just drew pictures on stream, and he gave like behind the scenes info, like I was saying. There are so many references in Saturday Morning Adventures that he went over that I didn't pick up on. There were like hundreds of references in this comic book that he went over. It was amazing to hear how many references he chalked in this thing. Stuffed full of references. So there's references about the toys. There are references to the video games, Cowboys of Moo Mesa, Super Mario Brothers. It was such an interesting thing. He talked about all the characters that they put in, all these cameos like Irma and the Triceraton and the Crooked Turtle Gang. Really interesting stuff. Trag, Granitor. And he also talked about the characters they weren't allowed to put in. I guess he tried to put in Hun from the 2003 series, and Hun was not allowed. He also tried to put in Danny from the 1990 movie, Danny Pennington from the 1990 movie, and Sam Rockwell's character from the 1990 movie, the guy who offers cigarettes, regular or menthol. So really cool stuff that they got to include a lot of characters, but not all, and he explained the characters they weren't allowed to add. I guess the Saturday Morning Adventures has to stay loosely based in the 1987 world. You can't bring in too many other elements from other versions of Ninja Turtles. I don't know what the deal is with the copyrights and licensing and all that stuff. I don't know how it works. But his backgrounds are great, his stream was great, it was interesting, it was entertaining, whole bunch of behind-the-scenes info. And one of his viewers was Old Man Winters. Old Man Winters is like a notorious Ninja Turtles fan. He's been around for a long time. So, shout out to Old Man Winters and also to Team Lattie, Tim Lattie, writer, artist, and live streamer, entertainer. If you use Twitch or whatever, Twitter, go check this guy out, Team Lattie, to check out Tim Lattie, the artist behind Ninja Turtles Saturday Morning Adventures. Pretty cool stuff. Tim Lattie, really interesting guy. And he seems like a real go-getter too. He has great marketing sense. Seems entrepreneurial. I would like to see him lead a Ninja Turtles project. I would like to see him be the main force behind a Turtles project. He had the real creative drive, real entrepreneurial drive. He seemed really clued in. He didn't seem like a typical artist. He wasn't like a shy, timid guy. He seemed like a jock almost. Like he was he was a real active guy. It wasn't like a typical wallflower artist kind of thing. It's a neat personality, great streamer, Tim Lattie. Big fan of the Ninja Turtles. Can't recommend it enough. Go check out his stream from the other day on Twitch. Really interesting stuff. I think he starts talking about Turtles like 48 minutes in or 50 minutes in, 49 minutes in, something like that. So go check it out on Twitch. And speaking of big Ninja Turtles fans, I wanted to talk about Teddy Gaming Review. Do you know Teddy Gaming Review? It's another Ninja Turtles channel here on YouTube. He's a great guy, Teddy Gaming Review. He's from the UK, Teddy Gaming Review. He does read-throughs, reviews, all sorts of stuff. Great channel. Teddy Gaming Review. And the other day, he's a big Turtles fan. He was on camera. Oh, here we got Teddy Gaming Review in the chat. Ninja Turtles Legend is in the chat. We're honored to be joined by Teddy Gaming Review in the chat right now. Hello, Teddy Gaming Review. And he went on screen the other day. You went on stream, Mr. Teddy Gaming Review, and he had his toy collection in the background. And of course, from one fan to another, I had to check out his toys. I had to geek out over his toys and examine them from one Ninja Turtles fan to the other. He's got a great collection of toys, and I just wanted to go through and see if you guys could pick them out and name some of them. I see the NECA cartoon turtles back there. Just list anything else you see. If you guys see some toys, list them out. I see some Funkos. He also has the old collections of the Turtles, those 4 books of, I think they're the first publishing. Let's get a T in the chat for Teddy Gaming Review. We are joined by some Ninja Turtles royalty. Great motion comics, great stuff. Big Ninja Turtles fan. I see the Metal Mutants from the 2012 line, Casey Jones picture. I see the WWE Turtles as well. He's got a whole bunch of figures too. I see Punk Frogs down here. What else do you guys see? Let me know if I'm missing anything. What a great collection. He has a bunch of the hardcovers too from IDW. So I just like to check out other people's collections and check out all this. He has the Last Ronin figure. Am I missing anything? Teddy Gaming Review, thanks for joining us. Whole bunch of Mousers. Passes my test for being a real Ninja Turtles fan. No fake Ninja Turtles fans here. And Teddy Gaming Review passes the test. He's got a great collection. It's always neat to see what other people have. I just wanted to check that out with you guys. A bunch of foot soldiers. So check out his channel. Great stuff. Teddy Gaming Review. Thanks for joining us, Teddy Gaming Review. So I just thought that was an interesting thing. I saw that the other day, and always great checking out another fan's collection. Really cool stuff. So one thing I'm not going to be talking about today is the Mutant Mayhem storyboard leaks. Some of you may have seen these storyboard leaks, and I'm not going to be talking about it, but I did kind of tweet my opinion, so check it out on Twitter if you'd like, at my TMNT channel. Maybe we'll talk about that soon. I don't talk about, no showing leaked pictures. I'm working on my opinions on this. I'm trying to put this together, so we're not going to be talking about these storyboard leaks today, but, you know, maybe sometime soon. So that's going to be ending on a little cliffhanger tonight, but want to let you know, join me on Thursday. I'm going to be uploading a video on Thursday, uploading a video on Saturday. Live stream every Tuesday, uploads every Thursday and Saturday. So a lot of Ninja Turtles videos coming out. Thanks again for joining me on tonight's installment of the Ninja Turtles show. Thank you for joining me, of course. I appreciate it. It's been a good show. T's in the chat for Turtles, and T for thank you for joining me. Always great to see you guys. Sometimes I start up the live stream. I don't know if anyone's going to be there, but you show up and I appreciate it. So thanks for commenting. Leave a comment, leave a chat. Thanks for keeping in touch. Thanks for joining me for the stream. That's enough yapping out of me, isn't it? About a half hour. That about does it, doesn't it? Thank you for joining me. Pickle, Worry, F47, Big and Soft Raffy, Brian, Celeste, Toidle, Mr. Turtle. Everybody was hanging out today. Teddy Gaming Review, Budward. Thank you again for everybody for hanging out. T's in the chat. T for thank you, and T for time for me to be quiet and wrap up the show. I guess there's just one thing left to say. Is that true? Just one thing left to say? Cowabunga! Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a comment and share this video. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more Ninja Turtles videos like this.